Well, everyone, we are back from our station break, and I'm really excited. Now, what you see on your screen is what the world needs now. And it's with an amazing and beautiful woman, Caroline Schwab, founder of World Peace Forum and founder, I'm going to say it anyway, Geneva World Peace Channel. An amazing woman. But before we bring her on, I think it's important that you see a little bit of what she's doing. We're going to start out with this beautiful video, if you don't mind.
What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just to be loved. But what the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Lord, we don't need another mountain. There are mountains and hillsides enough to climb. There are oceans and rivers enough to cross, enough to last till the end of time. The world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just to be loved. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Lord, we don't need another meadow. There are cornfields and wheat fields enough to grow. There are sunbeams and moonbeams enough to shine. Oh, listen, Lord, if you want to know. The world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just to be loved. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for what the world needs now is love, sweet love. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. What the world needs now is love, sweet.
And that is what the world definitely needs now is love, sweet love. I mean, Caroline, I wanted to have this big introduction of you, but I think that the video speaks for itself and where your heart and your spirit are. It's when David Cam and Mesfin Zaid and Sherry Lewis, the Three Peacemakers, when they called themselves the Three Peacemakers, I was like, David, where did you get that name from? And now I can see where it's coming into play. It's bringing everyone together in peace. And then you've just topped it off with that beautiful video, for the Geneva World Peace Forum. I mean, wow. I don't have any words because I love imagery. I think imagery tells a story. So let's get into telling your story, okay? A little bit before we go to the next level. Would that be okay with you? Wait, we got you muted. Would that be okay with you if we got into your story?
Of course.
Okay. Well, first of all, where should we start, Caroline? What? I think I know where. I was going to start with one, but I have another beautiful question because I'm
Mm,
still taken back by the beautiful imagery of the video. You know,
mm,
um, especially the part I have to say in the video where you show the women in the field. Okay.
mm-hmm.
And sometimes I think we take for granted it's that simple to go into the field, grow our food, put it on our stove, and cook our food and eat. And that
Yeah.
can give us peace right there. Gardening gives us peace. You're growing as you garden. And people, I don't think sometimes realize that. But I want to ask you, where did all of this start for you wanting to create a world of peace?
Since I was a child, because when I was a child, I've been going through an earthquake and I saw a lot of people dying. Then I opened my eyes. I was 7 years old. I opened my eyes that in this planet, nothing is really peaceful until the end. There are the natural catastrophes. And from this, there are so many suffering, pain, and collapse, and systems that are collapsing. I mean, cities or lives, that people are looking for the faith through the religion, and religions today are not unified, and we have a world. Also, when I was born, as you know, it was the end of the 50s. We were lucky. My generation was the most luckiest generation in this humanity. I came when the woman was free, when the war was over, when the human rights were on track, and the humanity was so beautiful. So it was also in parallel this event, this earthquake, that has opened my mind. And I said to myself, when I went to the school and I was growing, I said, I cannot live only for myself. I need to do something, and I know I can do something. Even if I am only one small person in this world, if I can influence and join the people. And this is how I joined the United Nations. And when I found myself ready, I started with this idea of the Geneva World Peace Forum and Festival, and now the channel. Why? Because we now, after we have been entering in this age after the Second World War, the age of the human rights, the woman rights, and the dialogue and the effort for peace and understanding, we have been going over a very beautiful period of exchange between all of us, all of different cultures, whether you are Jewish, Christian, Muslim, black, white, yellow, or red, you know? So I said to myself, I need to do. And before launching the festival, I was a singer during 30 years. So I was performing since the age of 13. And in the UN, I was organizing the gala, the event once a year. So I was all the time in this, in parallel to my work. And I invited the president of the République Canton de Genève. He was there to inaugurate with the director of the United Nations Office of Geneva, Mr. Otordonsky, with his representative Ricardo Espinosa. And we invited a lot of NGOs and peacemakers, and also people for charity, like the Red Cross, like the channel of the Women for Peace. We work with the March for Peace, 90 days. People walked during 90 days from New York, also taking trains and flights, cars and boats, to join each other's during 3 months for peace. And they came to the UN Plaza in Geneva. I've been working very closely with the World Food Program Director, with UNESCO, with Gavi, with also the Republic of Ireland. They sent us fighters for peace, Christians and Protestant, and so many people. We had also the Federation of Betancourt, the lady that was taken, she was captured in the FARCs of Colombia. So we invited her when she was released. She came to speak. We invited people from Palestine, from Bethlehem, Holy Land Foundation that I already knew years ago, and always trying to show to the people there is a dialogue. For example, I was born as a Greek family, but from a Jewish religion, but we were not religious at all. I was born in Morocco, and in Morocco, the king of Morocco was always asking the Muslims, the Jews, and the Christians to invite each other during their celebrations to bring back the children of Abraham. And it was a real beautiful tradition. So when I was in the UN, I was always in a dialogue with the Palestinian community or not, with the Muslims, with people, and I was saying, Jesus is Jew. So we should never have any problem together. Because who are the Jews? The Jews are human beings. So it's very important for me to do something for people to understand we are all members of the same human family. And I'm very glad to join you and join the team of Life Hope to speak about also the identity that we have to respect of the indigenous people, the tribes, and the beauty of their culture, the beauty of their diversity, and the respect they have for Mother Earth, and they are very grateful with what they have. They have a kind of a modesty that we have to relearn, but I'm sure they appreciate what the civilization has also developed. So we have to do something because normally, if you agree with me, we have only bad news during all the day with the COVID during 1 year now yet. What is this? The world is not only made by of bad aspects, diseases or problems. The world is made of so much beauty,
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
so much beautiful thing the human being has been created.
But you know what COVID has given us, Caroline? It has given us an opportunity to look within. It has given us an opportunity to allow the planet to breathe a little bit
Exactly.
so that it can restore itself as
Yeah,
well as,
because people were running to consume life and pleasures and consume power, consume ambition, consume project, and travel and travel. And oh, where are you going? Where are you running? Why don't you sit and live your life? Take your time and you will be healthy and you will be able to share with everybody. And now with the telecommunication, I would say what lucky we are, our generation, with this disease and this pandemic. We are all connected and for free. And so there is something happening. It's like if God decided first, I want to be sure all my children will be connected and nobody will be left aside and alone. I want to bring them back together with the
yes.
conditions.
Before we go on to, the human rights video, what's really interesting about human right, the word human right,
Mm.
okay? We have human rights as humans, okay? But
Mm.
we forget that the planet has rights as well.
Yes.
And the planet has given us, as humanity and as all biodiversity on life, to be a part of life. So, when I hear human rights, I think it's all, I don't know what the word would be actually, Caroline, to say all rights for everything that lives. Because without the earth, we can do nothing. There wouldn't be a human or a right.
Yeah, this is our home. And not only a right, we have obligations. We
Hmm.
have a lot of obligations, natural obligations. We receive, we must give, and when we consume, we must ensure that we are going to bring back what we consumed to the next generation and to leave this planet with something accomplished. We need to know we are here to contribute as co-creators. We are not a bad spy, a bad, how can I say, in space. Uh, Human beings are not so bad. This is also one aspect that people have now to stop with. Because if we are only in the hate and the revendications and the jealousy and never happy about anything, any personality at the power, we have to put him down whatsoever. This is not possible. We have to see the good and accept that there is the bad in order to understand what is good. And we have the possibility, the human being has the possibility to transform the bad in good, exactly like the good can be transformed in bad. And this is our function, to bring always the balance. And
Yes.
you and we don't need to consume so much and so many things to be happy. Now this pandemic is teaching us again we can live with much less and much more happier, because we have time to live, time to speak, and time to think, and to restore our world, our society. So now you and I, we are women. So woman is always giving life, giving love, giving harmony in the society, always. And if I can say just one thing, if I want you to observe one phenomenon, is that in the cultures where the woman has no right to express herself, those cultures where the woman is put aside are full of anger, violence, and war and poverty.
You know,
So,
it's funny that you would say that, Caroline, because I was watching a video recently of something in the Middle East where literally a marriage gift is given, okay, to the
mhm.
woman, for her to marry. And the imam, when there's any problems, if the woman wants to leave the marriage, she has to literally almost manufacture a problem against her husband in order to leave and receive her marriage gift that it seems often she never gets.
Oh, they are, it's very pity, because they've decided the man is the king, and even if he doesn't do anything good, he is always the king, and the woman is the slave of the man. This is a big shame, and it's not general in the Arab countries. There are very beautiful middle class generation of Arabs in Emirates or Morocco or
All over.
Jordan.
All over.
Yes, all over, like in every nation.
And I was going to, I totally agree with you, Caroline, because um, gender, whether it's male, female, LGBTQIA, it exists everywhere, no
Yeah,
matter where you go. It's not like the States or Europe or any other country is absolved from that because people live in those countries. So you will have dislikes and likes everywhere you go, you know?
yeah,
And
yeah,
and I think that's where your next video that we want to talk about is really a timely video. So
yeah.
we are, I think that it's important for us to be grateful for the things that we have, the rights that we have, and I believe that, I really love this next video that we're going to look at because I really think that this really focuses in on that. Maybe may we show that, Caroline?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just
The United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. Well, the elders in my community were very concerned about treaty violations, and they concluded that we need to go to the international arena to try and get our treaties honored and respected. And from that initiative became the negotiations on the UN Declaration, which resulted in the adoption of the Declaration by the Human Rights Council and then the General Assembly. When we reflect back on the 27 years of work on the Declaration, we are very encouraged. The dream of our elders in the past is now there and being implemented back home. Paradigm shift to the recognition of Indigenous rights. Learn it, live it, love it. Under threat has been our freedom on our land and territories. And after extensive negotiations and failed negotiations, we
looked up to strategic litigation. We leaned on the opportunities that internationally established normatives such as the Declaration offers to indigenous people. It formed a central part of our argument. And the highest court of Belize, the Supreme Court, and the Caribbean Court of Justice have agreed that there is an obligation on the government under the spirit of the Declaration to ensure that the customary rights, the collective rights of the Maya people ought to be protected under the Constitution, equal to any other forms of protection of property guaranteed to all Belizeans. We were going against logging concession oil companies, huge land sales. We have seen a drastic reduction in those kind of infringement. So there's a lot to be grateful to the legal affirmation that we've been able to achieve. We are still using the Declaration as a minimum standard for engagement. We've now developed a Maya consultation framework. That's just one step in the process of self-determination.
Indigenous community winning a case against the government was unbelievable in Kenya. The county government of Baringo are recognizing us as one of the stakeholders in management of Lake Bogoria. We are working hand in hand in developing community management plan because we had our traditional knowledge on how we used to manage this lake before the government left us. We were identified that there is an indigenous community called Indoras, and we are proud of that. We could not imagine being recognized, and we appreciate African Commission to have considered this landmark case. Getting our land back and having community people negotiating for the process was an achievement to us. The Okiek, they are like our brother and sister. They were inspired by how our rights to our land was guaranteed. They suffer almost the same kind of injustice, and they decided to take the case to African court, and they won.
The Awa Tupua Act is the outcome of negotiated settlement of a very long period of time between the Crown and the iwi, or tribes of the Whanganui River. The innovation is that the Act confers legal personality on the river itself. The declaration is being used in New Zealand to explain the intentions of the Treaty of Waitangi. And to that extent, the conferment of legal personality on a river which recognises its entitlement to respect and health and well-being fit entirely in with the articles of the Declaration. There is no sense of ownership. I am the river, and the river is me.
We try to protect our rights, territories, and natural resources by demanding free, prior, informed consent with coal mining companies. For us to have a stronger voice, we also use the declaration to push for our rights within CERT.
The UN Declaration has been a living document for us as Indigenous peoples. The government has not done its part to promote and enhance awareness of the Declaration. So Indigenous peoples have done that. They have done trainings and used materials for that purpose. It has enabled the production of an FPIC guide for Sabah to monitor implementation of rights.
The aim of the Nordic Sami Convention is to adapt UNDRIP to the situations in the Nordic states for the Sami people. That means, amongst other things, recognizing in a legally binding document that the Sami people have a right to self-determination, which is implemented through the Sami parliaments. And it has also articles on education, Sami languages, and the most important ones on Sami land rights and resource rights. The Declaration has inspired drafting the Sami Convention, and the Convention contains principles of the Declaration.
Well, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission in Canada is as a result of the largest class action suit where children were removed from parents, and the consequences of doing that to children over their lifetime. where we went across the country listening to stories about children put into residential schools. A very tragic, sad history of physical, mental, cultural, spiritual, and worst of all, sexual abuse.
Oh my gosh.
From this dark chapter, we found a bright way, a bright light, I think, to find a solution going forward. How do we restore respectful relationships? And one of the ways we believe is by using the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples as a framework for reconciliation, so that now people, as they implement the UN Declaration, are feeling a sense of justice, a sense of healing from the past harm, because now the truth is out there.
Nos ha servido como una herramienta de reivindicación de derechos para nosotros los pueblos indígenas, y en ese sentido hemos podido negociar un plan de salud regional diferenciado para la juventud y niñez indígena de América Latina y del Caribe.
We use the declaration as a foundation tool and advocacy, looking at the ground to reach to persons with disabilities, to ensure their rights.
We are using the declaration as much as possible at the local level and in the international level as well to defend our rights as human beings in relation to climate change.
Ha permitido al Estado a entender o al menos detener o pensar dos veces antes de entrar a un territorio indígena.
Dans le cadre des accords de paix au Mali, les négociateurs Touaregs issus des mouvements se sont inspirés de certains articles de la déclaration.
La declaración hace parte de la Constitución. Esto ha sido un cambio en los pueblos indígenas. Ahora que negocian, hablan, dialogan con el Estado, se sienten empoderados.
Nous avons la loi, il manque encore les tests d'application pour la mise en œuvre. Very exciting to see how Indigenous peoples are using the UN Declaration to advance our historic struggles. Our chiefs always says, it's not the ceiling, but it's the floor. It's the floor we never had before to stand on.
What a beautiful video.
Yes.
What a beautiful video.
Yeah, yeah, it's the UN, United Nations Television. They used to ask us if we can promote forward. And really, when I found this video for our event today, I said, wow, it's exactly what we should show to the people, that the United Nations, it means all the member states, all the countries around the world already, since 10 years ago, started to recognize their rights. And it's normal because
it is very normal. You know, I would be wrong to not share this. You know, the three peacemakers, when I first met Sherry, Sherry Lewis, I remember her and I were having a conversation. I remember David put us on the phone, and I loved her commitment to her community, okay? Knowing that she was made up of Dine, and she's going to have to forgive me for the other tribal community she's a part of, but she was Dine and I believe Navajo, I could be wrong, but she was Dine and Lakota, which is known as also Aglala. But she's Sherry Lewis, part of the Three Peacemakers. You know, she shared it again the other day, and her commitment, knowing that she has the Irish and all the other communities within her, but how her inner community stands so strong, and her commitment to the Indigenous people, that she's not just talking about it, she's going out there with it. And then David, who his lineage is Hakka, okay? And then Mesfin's lineage, which he's going, Mesfin, excuse me, but I don't know how to pronounce it, but his lineage from Ethiopia. It's beautiful lineage. And then my father was full-blood Cherokee from Tahlequah. My grandfather, who I met, still spoke the language. And so having all of that, you have a real close sense of what, you have a sense, not 100%, but a real close sense of the indigenous community, because when it lives in you, it is something that you cannot explain, you know? And then what I also love about what Sherry is doing is Sherry actually lives within an area that is, you know, communicative of the indigenous communities, you know,
Mhm.
and she does
Mhm.
her best to live that life. And I like it because it's one thing to be a supporter of something, it's another thing to believe in it and live in it. And that's what I also love about you, Caroline, and what you're doing with Geneva Peace TV, World Peace TV, I'm sorry. You are actually living it. You're
Yeah,
living,
yeah.
it's running through your veins of humanity, you know. And you know, I hear a lot of people go into the new agey side, you know. Oh, I'm
Mhm.
in peace, I'm in, but folks like all of us who are on the ground, who are actually doing the work, you know what I mean? This is why we need people to go to com26v.com and literally give, you know, and go to Geneva World Peace Forum and give, you know what I mean, towards the work that's being done here. It's important. So I want to really get into a little bit of the indigenous side of what you have experienced. Would that be okay with you, Caroline?
Of course, of course.
Yeah.
Uh, when I was in Morocco, we had every year a big festival of Gnawa. They were coming and they were playing with their hats and their heads like this. You know, it's a very, very specific, they were doing, you know, kind of cycle. And I was running to give them money when I was a child because they were coming through the city where we were. When I was living in Morocco, it was under the protectorate, the French protectorate. So it was a different world. And I was running and I was saying, wow, they are so cool. They have rhythm, exactly like the African dancers. You know, the African dancers are better than in New York, if you want me to tell you. We have seen Jackson 5, we have seen all kind of big stars, yes, with the rhythm, with the style, with really talents. But in Africa, the talents are crazy. And in Morocco, they were coming from Sahara. 600 tribes were every year invited by the king to cross all Morocco in our street, and we were out to applaud them, to look at them. It was a festival, to give them drink, to give them money. So I have very beautiful souvenirs. And when I came to the UN, it started that they came to the WIPO where I was working, the World Intellectual Property Organization, because we started by revendicating with them the copyright in order to protect their traditional knowledge, culture, clothing, identity, symbols of identity, banners, exactly like every country protects its own banner, seals, and symbols. So they are all recorded with their origin, the name of the tribe, and with their tradition and their certificates. So I was amazed because the director general that was really dealing with this seriously was from Australia. So in Australia, the Australian people have been really working out with the Aborigine, a very good relationship, respect, and they gave them back, I think, most of their lands. I think, yes. The only thing that we know also is that lately they had a lot of fires and a lot of diseases, and we don't know why. It was really terrible, but they have been doing the peace and the bridge between the people and the Aborigine and the tribes of Australia, and it's been working very hard in the WIPO until now. Until now. So it's good. It's good to recognize them because they exist. They are part of this planet, um, and it would be very good that they recognize us also. So peace will be guaranteed.
You know, I want to go into a little bit more of, before we go into this next video. I want to go into a little bit more about you personally, Caroline. Okay, because I think that people really want to know more, you know, about you, and so one of those things I'd like to know about you is When you've traveled extensively, okay?
Mhm.
Let me know of a memory of a place you visited anywhere in the world with indigenous community that really share the story with us of
I,
a place that really left you with peace. You got there, you had peace, and you left there, you had peace, and you were in peace while you were there. Give us one story if you don't mind.
recently, last December, I went to Sri Lanka, and in Sri Lanka you have some tribes and some indigenous and native. And I went to a Ayurvedic institution, and I met there with some people from the native, and they came, and the owner of the place where I took the cure of Ayurvedic cure, 1 month, I stayed there 1 month. They were coming to me and giving me coconut, and they were nice to me because I was very nice to them also. It was a symbiosis of a kind of spiritual love between us. And the owner of the hotel said to me, Mrs. Schwab, we want you please to come, because every week, so I said 4 weeks, every week, one day in a week, we receive all the poor people around, and we receive people from the tribes, and please come with us to give them. And they did that. They filmed us, and wow, it was so impressive. And they were really loving me. It was crazy. But I went there during 1 month. It's like if I made a rehearsal of the confinement, of the lockdown. It was so funny because I decided to go to Sri Lanka a long time ago. And when I was there, I felt in symbiosis with the people. Everybody was so nice to me, and me, I am very open also. So this was the moment. I felt really a big happiness to help them, to give food, to give all kind of clothes, and a little bit money also. And also, as I told you, in Morocco, it was every year. I was running to the festival of Gnawa, and I loved it. And then I've been singing with groups where we had some members, some musicians coming from some tribes and villages in Morocco. And yeah, but we are living in this every day. I'm here. What can I say to you more than this? What I can do, and whatever I can do, I will do, because it is not a difficult thing for me to give and to love the people. I think the people, this song that was saying what the world needs now is love. It's really the truth, because the people why are they angry? Why is there the violence has been increasing? Because all the time bad news, the governance has come to an extreme, and people are fighting each other's in front of the media all the time, with a non-stop release. And this is really very bad, because it is really influencing the people. It brings them to think that this world is not good, that it will collapse, that they have nothing to lose but to explode and to say what they have to say, or to give up. So this is not a leadership. The leadership, really, the real target of Geneva World Peace Channel is really to become a television, a positive television, showing the example of those who believe they can do something, even if it is very simple donation, to go to your neighbor today to check if they have food to eat because of the situation. When we were in Morocco, we always had, like the Tibetan people, the the spiritual guys that are coming and knocking at the door, and people are giving them the food like this, namaste, with gratitude. This is a tradition we had at home with my father. We always had a plate for the poor, with all the respect. Means if someone was coming and we could see he's outside, he didn't eat or something like this, we were asking him to come in and to sit and to eat with us and to tell us if he needs more food, and we were giving a lot of food. So it's a culture, and it is a big happiness to do such a natural and human action. To give money, of course, is very good. For example, now I'm in contact with Latin America. I've noticed that we can sponsor children for access to food security, access to studies. Only with $50, you can help 10 children. It's nothing.
It is nothing. And, but sometimes I often wonder, if, if we are actually going to, I guess I sometimes, to be very quite frank with you, Caroline, I wonder if the money is going there. You know what I mean? If our money is truly going there. I often wonder that.
No, it's okay, because I've been asking someone there. I've been sending him the money to go and to make sure the children will get the clothes and the access to some some trainings and hobbies like tennis, like sport, whatever. And but this is nothing in front of what we can do. Only in paying attention to people, in speaking with them, in listening to their needs, or to their need to speak and to be listened and understood, you do a lot. You do a lot. You don't need to have to give money or food. The food, the affection, the food of loving and giving respect and giving consideration is a big food.
It is big food. My mother used to say two things. She said, love and your food. The food that you eat, she said, you are what you eat because it determines your mood. And she said, giving love and affection is so, and it's so important. One of the things, we talked about children, and I like to think of it not only just children. There are peoples and countries and communities that are like lost communities that we never know about. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Or sometimes it's just lost because we don't appreciate them enough, And I wanted to share your next video, if it was okay, about the lost nations. Would that be okay?
Yes, of course.
And we
From
can.
Sarah Begun.
Yes.
Sarah Begun is a new friend of mine, a wonderful, beautiful lady.
Yes. So I really want to play this beautiful video because I think this is the kind of thing sometimes that we need to talk about,
Yes, 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 yes. With pleasure. Thank you for your choice.
1 second. We're just going to bring this on, folks. Technology is great. I wish I was in the normal professional studios that we're all accustomed to. And I'm sure that you also wish the same thing. So we're going to do that. I think this is a beautiful, beautiful video. And I was so happy that Caroline chose it. And here we go.
Where did we come from? And are we still containing ourselves? Yes, we are. Because if we lost this, we would be like a lost nation without a future.
A road trip through the Midwest took me to the land of the Native Americans, exploring tribes, traditions, and stories on a trail of discovery.
We do back on the reds, this is very important for the way of life.
I was intrigued to learn about the native ways today.
What our council house is, the 7 sides represent the 7 clans of the Cherokee people. The Deer Clan, the Wolf Clan, the Longhair Clan, the Paint Clan, the Blue Clan, and the Wild Potato Clan.
When you're going to meet another girl, you're going to say, which clan? If you're the same clan, you can be with them.
With over 500 recognized tribes, Native Americans make up 1.7% of the entire U.S. population.
The land of the red man. Oklahoma is populated by 97% mixed Indian blood people. It is the largest state in the Union that has the Indian population.
Native portrayals have somewhat distorted their image, often causing prejudice, but they are proud of their heritage.
My father started this powwow 30 years ago as a way to teach the general public about Native American awareness and culture and to help dispel stereotypes of natives.
I run into so many people who want to tell me what they think is right. Unfortunately, a lot of times they're very wrong.
Some people think that there's some old village somewhere where Indians still live, like the old way or something like that.
We call that the TV tribe. There's a lot of misconceptions. We didn't go around saying how, guys.
I appreciate people like you who come up and just ask an open-ended question and allow me to explain how it really is.
In the 1830s, natives lost their homes to the Indian Removal Act. The Trail of Tears marked a tragic event in history. Thousands of people died along the way. Even now, they have concerns about losing their culture.
Natives were indigenous to this area hundreds of years ago before the forced removal of Andrew Jackson.
And he wanted the native type folks out of the eastern United States, just out by whatever means.
Distressing thing of the murder of one of our friendly countrymen, Mr. James Foreman, by the outrageous Stan Lee. The whole of this nation doesn't become much more happy approaching people until every traitor is put down.
This is where all the soldiers would be living. If you look where that split in the wood is, you can actually see that bullet lodged in there.
My great-great-grandmother was full-blooded Mohawk, and she actually ran away from the government. The government was hurting people together to put them on reservations.
Native American culture and heritage, it's been so protected by the government.
Why is that?
They don't want people to know what they really own.
And what do they really own?
The land.
When the settlers came, we weren't allowed to speak our own language anymore.
We get assimilated into the white culture so much that we really don't even know what our language is.
It's okay to be Indian. It's okay to be a Native American. It's okay to have your own language. These are the things that we're teaching our young people.
When you show somebody just your differences, then there's a barrier between you. But when you can show someone how you're alike, that builds for dialogue, that builds for discussion.
In the modern era, struggles are endless. Poor healthcare has led to high death rates, and the homeless are freezing to death from lack of firewood.
We people can fit in here. To make a living out here is kind of hard. Hardly any jobs.
Just like in prison, right? He said he's gonna help everybody else, but do you really hear about the Navajos?
You know how much some wood would cost? Maybe $90, around $100 to $200.
We have to pay for that just to keep us warm.
In the native culture, everything has a story. On this journey, I have traveled through 18 states. The lands changed shape, and the tribes changed name, but the message stayed the same. Hidden on the maps of the United States of America remains a lost nation.
Wow, that's all I can say is.
Yeah, Sarah Bergen, she's really a very talented producer, and she's been living with two or three tribes that she represents, and she is protecting them. She's searching for fundraising to help them. And well, you know, there are so many beautiful people that I'm connected to, and I'm promoting what they are doing. And when I say I would like to say I'm looking for a team, like with you, like with others, like with David came. I would like really us to do something together. And this television, Geneva World Peace Television, is also the Generation World Peace Television. I would like them to really to show and invite the young people from universities, from whoever they are, associations for charity, associations working with the specialized agencies as well, to work together.
Well, it's funny. It's funny that you would have this, and it's funny because I didn't even look at the video before I shared it. I knew it was one of the videos that you had shared, and I honed in on for that. That one was quite personal for me because my father is Wolf Clan, and he was full blood. He was not a part. He was not half or anything. He was full blood from Tahlequah. My grandfather was still speaking the language. My grandfather refused to speak English.
Wow.
He didn't even know how to. So my grandfather was a janitor at Cornell University, not knowing how to speak English, coming from Tahlequah, Oklahoma.
Do you imagine all the languages that exist in this world with the sound, what we've been able to do? And when you take the 7 notes of music, how many beautiful songs and beautiful composition we have. So this is the world we have been giving to work and to live in, I mean, like a gift and not like a problem. So the people are making of this world and this civilization and the different rhythms, different ages of nations. The indigenous are in a different age, even if we can communicate in the present moment, at any time when we want. They live in their own timing, with their own values, tradition, and preservation from our civilization that is consuming too much the 5 cents. So I have not only respect, but I have admiration because they are still very much connected in their community. They are not like we are. We have been forced to become responsible in a way that we are forced to be able to do everything alone, but it's not normal. How much can you be alone because you are strong and that you are so, how can I say, silent and you don't disturb anyone? But this is not normal. We should have, interactivity with neighbors, with the society, and even with the COVID, we should have much more interactivity by the phone, with the Zoom, and I don't know, with the distancing, we should be allowed to meet together outside. This is not good what's going on, because I am very worried, because people, now it's going to be 1 year almost that we are going to be conditioned, limited, and lose much more than ever the natural interaction, the spontaneity, the need to see each other. It was very important, this need. You understand? Not to live only for yourself, but to live with the need to see the others and to share. And as you know, I'm a singer. I was a singer since the age of 13. I was performing even when I was 7 years old in Morocco. I was singing in the church, and it's really, for me, it's like they cut me one hand. I cannot sing. I cannot see people. It's very difficult. So what I want to say is that the Geneva World Peace and Generation World Peace Festival Forum, or TV, are here to bring together all what human beings here on this planet are doing together for the others, for the world, for the society, and that we should also help all those with too much hard responsibility. You have now, I just noticed that in our century, the governance is really suffering. So why? Because everybody has the right to vote, and everybody has the right to express, to say yes or not, to criticize and to judge. But it's not easy. It's not easy today to lead the world and to lead the society. So, okay, I'm speaking with my heart. I'm doing what I can. But I think it's better for human beings to give the best of them than the worst. If I can conclude like this.
Well, I have to agree with you in so many ways, because I think often we don't understand just how important it is to just be ourselves. That's one thing I'm loving about this conversation. You're being yourself.
Yeah, always.
And you're sharing who you are, and you're not trying to be anything else other than that. And I think that's all anyone can be, is be themselves. And the beauty of that is when you're being yourself, and it just works. That's all I can say.
Yeah, because in my generation, we became ladies with the possibility to have a career, to drive a car, to take the pill, not to be always, with children. And it is, we were lucky so much that I said we have to give something back. So my message to the people who may listen and watch what today or later on is that please sit with yourself and make the list of what you can do that doesn't request money and that will really respond to your own need to give, and then you will receive 100 times more than what you gave. This is
Absolutely. Absolutely. Caroline, I'd like to ask you something before you go.
Yeah.
I know that you have, I know that, wow, I'm very touched by you. You and I have had an opportunity to talk, and I'm just very touched by you. I don't usually I have a lot to say.
It's nice of you, really. It's nice of you. This is what I like. This is what I like, soul to soul.
You know, yeah, I don't have a lot of words just to say that I hope that this audience received the beauty in you, okay, that I received in talking to you.
Thank you. I wanted to tell you the last video that we could, if you have time, should be the US stars from Native Origin.
Well, you know what video that I wanted to play? I want everyone to hear your beautiful music.
Okay.
And I must admit, on air, I'll just have to embarrass myself that I was looking to surprise you, and I couldn't find the video. I wanted a video with the song of you.
Aha. I had a video about that, but I don't know where it is now because I just focus on the festival and the channel. I don't focus on myself, but I can give you back the link.
Yeah, if you send the link right now, I really want to take this time for people to, because I want people to know that when you hear her voice, you're going to say, oh my God, is that really her? And I said to myself, she seems so relaxed, laid back. And, when you're in this sort of music, you have to really get into the spirit of the music. And I was like, oh my God, this woman has so many just a beautiful side to her that is unreal. And I'm saying to myself, wow, So it was really, it was really, well, I did have that link. Good, great. I'm glad that was the right link. So no, it was beautiful to hear her music, and I am going to have to let you all listen to this music, and just give me one moment because I really love this. Okay, 1 second. Okay. So how do we do this? There we go. We are going to share this because her music is absolutely beautiful. And I'm sorry, I have to put you on the spot to let everyone hear how beautiful this music is. Is that okay with you, Caroline?
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, I do believe in this mankind. This is the title.
Yes, well, there's two. I'm going to have to play two if that's okay with you.
Yes.
I have a favorite one myself.
Oh.
So yes, I have to do this.
Okay.
Okay, because I truly have a favorite one myself, and I'm going to play it right now.
I do believe in these mankind in my heart. I do believe in human being, 'cause I believe that mankind was created to bring God's presence to the world. That's why I feel the inspiration to tell you that we were all created to bring God's beauty to our world. Come and be this generation where people of one nation building together, each one comprehension. I still believe in all mankind, in myself. I still believe in you and mine. Yes, I know that man that was created to feel His presence in God's world. Come and get this generation where people are one nation, building together, each one comprehension. Love is bring mankind safely. Let's cross my Hallelujah, la la.
I see.
So everyone, I just had to give you a little bit of the range of Caroline. And the reason why I wanted to give a range is because, you know, one of the things I've always loved about jazz, and that's where I wanted to just share a little bit with your background on that, if it was okay with you before we leave.
Yes.
That little area of jazz, you see, your voice, and this is part of peace to me because I'm in music, okay? That's part of what I do, and I know that we had that in common. You know, when music brings peace to the soul, okay? And I wanted people, you have a beautiful voice, and I don't just say that to anyone. Not only do you have a beautiful voice, but the instrumentation and the instrumentals of your music, you're able to go and literally be flexible in the music genres. And that is something that's not always done. So if you could see, you went into Hallelujah, okay? And,
yes.
And then you went into Jerusalem of Gold.
Yes.
And all the instrumentation was very different. And I do believe because I love music that I can sway to. So I take my hat off to you. I think you did a very beautiful job on your instrumentation. And also, this is what people don't realize. It's not only that, but the production, the application, and I forgot there's another word that starts with an A, arrangement.
Yes.
Okay? You see, anyone can be a singer, and any producer can be a producer. But if you don't know how to arrange, it doesn't mean anything. And that's where I can honestly say I pat myself on the back having been taught by people like Quincy Jones and Gladys Knight and people like this, the old school people who taught me a lot. And I'm very grateful for that, what I learned from them for the brief times that I was around them. And definitely pay homage to Barry White, who was my mentor for years.
Oh, wow. It was wonderful. Wow.
So, and I say that not as a name dropping, but as to have people understand that music is the source of your soul. So I literally listened to your song the other day, and I love the fact that I was swaying and washing dishes because I hate doing dishes. And that music gave me peace. It gave me peace. So I would like for you just for a quick moment, and I know David's going to kill me because he has people to come on, but I really have to share with people with this. You did jazz and the jazz festivals for a little bit. So your extensive background goes into the UN, and this is why I love you because you and I have similar there. It's so inspiring because I do development, I do the arts, and I do, you know how we do the political thing and all that. But people don't realize that the music helps you to navigate all those areas, right and left brain thinking.
It's opening everything.
Yes.
I've been so much happy in my life with music. In Geneva, after work, I was going to sing spontaneously with pianists in the l'Hôtel de la Paix, Peace Hotel, or Le Beau Rivage, or the Kempinski. And I was received like this by pianists. We were singing, and people were asking, "Do you know him?" I said, "No, I never saw him. We just made only one song, and it was a pleasure to meet like this." And people were around, and it's really a connection with people.
Wow. Well, I thank you so much for your time. And everyone, I just want to say to you, we will have station breaks in between. I know sometimes you're used to the continuous, but I think it's sometimes great to give you station breaks so that you can go get a drink or a bottle of wine or something like that and sit back and watch the rest of Com 26B. Because it's all, jazz, she just did it. So, I'm great with that. So we're going to let you go. We're going to have a station break and come back with David Cam and the Three Peacemakers. And we thank you, and we have more for you. Thank you so much, Caroline. And if you would stay with us in the background for just a quick moment in the green room, it would be really great.